Hello, everybody. We are live. Um, yeah, so today's stream is it seems kind of broad in scope, but basically it's about what to do for Corp in this meta. Um, and I asked this question not because I've seen other people play convincing Corps, um, or Corps that they're doing really well with, but I'm personally having some issues like finding decks that I feel satisfied with. So in general, well, let's see. We have a lot of popular corps. Or yeah, I don't know how popular they are, but we have some played corps that have been doing well. Facet Ob is for example one archetype that did really well at CBI. Um, oh, I didn't pull up Ben's. We can pull up Ben's list because that's like a good example. Do popular. I think yeah. Um, so Facet Ob, there's like Neurospike Asmari. There's Asa builds like Brandon the King brought to CBI. Ag hasn't been doing that well. I think there was one Ag in the CBI cut. I kind of feel like these are the main lists right now. Someone might disagree with me on that. But yeah, those are some decks. And then the question in general for me with this meta is how to deal with the various runners that are popular. So we have Mulch is basically back. Something like this list that Brandon was playing is... Oh, let's get rid of this. Has shown up a lot at CBI. Amarum was playing a similar list. These decks turn out to be like really good still, even with the banning of Knob Curie. There's like on every single tab. That's pretty annoying. But yeah, the crew host decks is a thing. This is the original list by Torpedo Tyrus. Of course, Ben, aka Kikai, he brought a version of this to win CBI as well. So this deck is also like doing really well at the moment. In general, like Anarch's doing well. I'm bringing up my own list as well for reference, not because this is like a meta list. I mean, if it, yeah, like I don't know if it will be. I like it. Probably keep seeing how good it is, but that's just to showcase that some runners are doing kind of a turbine rig with breakers like Cleaver, Buzzsaw. Boy, Tadza is unusual, but Echelon is not so unusual. Like you can look at the Arizona list. Here's one by Sebastian, where you have like Turbine, you have Cleaver, Echelon kind of stuff. And Entangler is also a card. So basically, on the whole, what I find tricky is like playing ice that actually feels good. And, and you might be like, what does he mean by that? Or you might actually, I feel like most Netrunner players will intuitively be like, yeah, ice sucks at this moment. But to clarify, you have a lot of different cards that are good at breaking ice in different ways on the runner side that are popular. So you have Buzzsaw and Cleaver. Those are like classics. Those cards essentially mean that any code gate or barrier with 3 strength and below, you have to have a pretty good reason for including them in your deck. Usually, like you can gear check people, and that's it. But playing a card like, actually, like, well, let's pull something up, like unusual cards, like Maskirovka. Some Russian speaker can correct me. I believe that sounds Russian. Like the numbers on this card actually look decent in theory, like in some kind of Netrunner void, whatever. You have a barrier, 3 Duress, 3 strength. It has end the run, so that's already a wall of static, but then you get 2 credits as well if this fires. So if they just face check this, you get 2 credits back. Like that doesn't seem that bad. But it kind of is, because yes, so there's let's get back to, like, they don't have to have cleaver, but if they do have cleaver, they break this for just 1 credit. So most barriers and code gates that we don't see a lot of, it's probably like some amount of that is probably because they're so easily broken by cleaver and buzzsaw. So that's sort of an issue. Then there's, actually, let's just get the whole pile. Like, there's cleaver and buzzsaw. So it's hard to be an ice with low strength, at least on the code gate and barrier side. You could argue that Tithe is like a really good ice. Size and Tan is a decent ice. But yeah, there's cards like Botulus, which means that ice with few subroutines are also not that good. So it's it's so you have to have low strength. Low strength ice is not that good because of cleaver, buzzsaw. Botulus and cards like it, like let's look at this list, and Bankar, make it so that cards with few subroutines are also not that good, because Bankar just doesn't care what your card says. It's about the number of subroutines. Botulus is the same. It doesn't care about ice strength, whatever. It breaks a number of subroutines equal to virus counters. So it gets through ice with few subroutines very cheaply. It doesn't matter if you paid 8 credits for it or not. So that can be an issue for you. And another issue with these cards is that both of them are reusable. You could argue like Bankar is even more tricky, because Bankar can target a different server every turn. So it's kind of like, blankets targeting all servers kind of at the same time, making every server weaker. Then there's like cards like Audrey. Now, of course, this is basically only used in mulch. But still, this is like something that makes breaking ice very cheap if only you have the virus counters on this. So if you leave centrals open so that things can be trashed, this will probably easily be charged. So if you're a deck that has like pretty thin servers, it's very hard to keep someone out of servers with Audrey, except by like popping a Mavericks mid-run, which is kind of like expensive. Hard to do that outside of OB in general. And then, there's also stuff like, beyond all this, you have Omakua, which is really good at breaking stuff. Omakua Leech is really good at breaking stuff, unless you have like Mavericks in your bin, or you have like you ice all your servers, or you have Mavericks. But then there's also cards like Crew that kind of help you crack servers. Crew Devil Charm means that it's not only now hard to play low strength ice, but it's kind of hard to play high strength ice in a meta with Devil Charm Crew. So it used to be you punish decks that over focus maybe on Cleaver and Buzzsaw and have a hard time getting up to high strength. If you could get your high strength breaker on the back of a server so that Bankar can't get to it, then they would actually need to pay to get through it if you had like a juicy big Bran or whatever. But Devil Charm Crew makes it a bit tricky once again. So yeah, that's a bit tricky. I guess yeah. So the point I'm building to is like, damn, there's a lot of hoops to jump through for your eyes to actually be like, kind of like universally good. It seems like the game right now is built in a way where you can do a few different things with your eyes, but it feels very hard to play in a way where your eyes matters like long term or isn't bad against some of these things. So yeah, it seems like you have to pick your poison quite a lot. Like for example, let's get to some concrete stuff. And also, yeah, so I guess I mentioned the turbine rigs. Another thing with turbine rigs and Hush is that, okay, you can get like very, very high strength ice if you play something like Sokka's built to last. But then if you end up playing against one of these runners with like Hush and Double Turbine, I guess this runner's still unusual, but point is, in theory, even that can be like pretty easily cracked. So there seems to be like a big Achilles heel to a lot of ice suites. And Todd Pingvin says Maskirovska is an indicator that Ob is doing something scary. I'm not. Why is that? I'm actually curious because I haven't seen Maskirovska a whole lot. I think, Maskirovka a lot. I almost exclusively see Sandstone. So I don't know why you would include that, but I'm curious to know like what kind of decks would play that. But yeah, so you have all this stuff, and some of my attempts at playing Corp, like this is a new version of the CBI BTL that I played. Shout out to Hexnet, I believe, who suggested Hostile Takeover for this list. Now, I'm not totally sure that that's like a correct play, but the idea was you can get rid of the standoffs, you can cut one, send a message, and you can get 3 Hostile Takeovers. And like this gets you some money that you're kind of missing. Scoring a standoff was nice, but the fact that like you kind of wanted to get some money out of it. So it was actually quite hard to to get off the ground, and Hostile Takeover helps a little bit. So I've played it a bit, and it seems okay, but I'm not sure I'm satisfied. But anyway, let's not get stuck on that note. So this is one version of the BTL, and this is list kind of well, actually, I guess the point I was making is like Corps. There's a few different ways that Corps try to deal with all this stuff. So what we see, let's look at some popular lists. Like you have Ob, where one of the nice things, like you have border control to get around the fact that something like Botulus can easily get you into a server quickly. Ob at least has the answer in border control, which makes it a lot trickier, because this can gear check you on both barrier and code gate on the same turn. So just getting the right breaker as like Shaper with SMC is hard, and then you can get the code gate. But also if they Botulus this ice, then you just trash it and so on. In general, Ob has a bit of a built-in protection against Botulus. Not on the turn that it's installed, unless you use Maverus. But later on, because every piece of ice is like temporary, and this is something I think well, probably archer is something you want to keep around. But the point is like by having temporary pieces, even if an ice turns out to be useless in terms of how it's defending your servers, like an ice wall, will be quite useless later on. At least it can be trashed and trigger the ob effect and get you something else. So the fact that your ice becomes obsolete later in the game is not as bad. You have tricks to like get around stuff like botulus. You have like Mavericks to get around viruses. And in general, you can tutor the piece of ice that's best for the situation. So whereas normal corps will like just have to install what they have and then kind of commit to that, and then you're locked in. Ob can adapt, at least to the extent that their deck allows them to. So that's one way that people are trying to solve this, by having sort of like temporary eyes that just kind of get you through the early game to get enough tempo to get up to enough points that you can then score out from hand, perhaps. Like this deck has Hollow Man, it has Audacity, and it has Slash and Burn. So a few ways of scoring out. So you kind of, maybe you just need that remote to hold for a little while so you can get enough points. You can, fast advance the last points. This deck has tricks that we saw in like Jack Made's Ob a while back that played calibration testing. Is like, if you have Ice Wall, you can score an Azif and get a Spin Doctor, and you score it with a Slash and Burn, and then the Spin Doctor can shuffle back the Slash and Burn. So that's like one way of approaching things. And this like has one really nice thing with Ob is like the built-in virus hate. A lot in other decks, I argue it's kind of a big sacrifice to be playing Mavericks. It's just like not a good card unless they're on viruses. So that's another like thing that like Corps kind of have to like make a big sacrifice just to deal with that stuff. And at least I feel like a lot of the time the Mavericks like might not even be enough. But it's nice in Ob that you can have this sort of hate and still like play like a normal deck, because it slots very nicely into your general game plan. Tatpingme says Sarahi was flatlined at EMEA to combo Ob, 3 cost res fetches Wage Worker to Biotic Mad and double end of the line. That deck is nasty. That deck is very nasty. Like something like Sebastian was playing at CBI and did really well. Although I still don't see why you would play it over Sandstone, but maybe it's just that you just like need 74 cards, so eventually Maskerovska makes sense. That might be the case. Although, Sebastian's list didn't play Wage Workers Biotic. It just mads you, and then it lets you clear tags, but it's supposed to give you so many that you can't clear them all. But anyway, so Ob is like one way of dealing with all of this stuff. In essence, I would argue is like, it feels... you're just kind of like trying to cheat your way through the game is what it feels like to me. It's like you build something that holds for just long enough so that you can then just like quickly get out of the game with a score from hand. This kind of the vibe I get from a lot of corps, like Kikai's deck list. You're essentially just trying to get out of the game as fast as possible. Get the re-education Neurospike kill with the Holomans so that you can stop playing. Because damn, if you stay for long against these runners, you're gonna have a bad time. I'm maybe exaggerating it a little bit, but that's essentially it. Like this is just trying to get through the game as quickly as possible. Maybe even more so than Ob. There was another list. Brandon's Asa. So this one, um, is a little more ambitious in trying to build something. It has like Malia for Bankar, I think. Maverus for viruses. Of course, in Asa, popping this mid-run does just cost you 3 credits. So you are sacrificing something real there. Um, but yeah, I guess like Brandon basically found that you need that amount of virus hate to deal with all the Amakua leech stuff and the mulch decks that go around. Yeah, one thing I find very hard is that like if you're up against mulch, you try to purge Botulus mid run. They can sort of like prepare for that by having a Simmel chip ready. But I guess at least you're making them waste resources. Also, I feel like you won't be able to afford this early on. So if you're trying to like establish your board and the runner is kind of aggressive, you might still get like an ice botulist early, and then they get through and trash your stuff, and then you might not get off the ground in the way you want to. So I'm not sure how that pans out, but like those those are some concerns. Again, you see a lot of the ices like because of the fact. Let's look at the ice that is being played, like Tatubola. Yes, it's not taxing to cleaver, but this ice is playable because it does the gear checking, but then also does something else, right? Also can get you the 4 credits. So this card becomes playable compared to Maskirovska that like loses its values as soon as the cleaver hits the table. Kind of same with the Bladed Barrier, like it does the early game job of stopping the run, but if you can keep it for later, it has kind of a powerful effect. So these are the eyes that get played on the lower end. These eyes kind of with tricks. The Gatekeeper as well, like it has kind of the trick of getting to high strength, turn you res it. Drafter is because it's a sentry. Like if there was Cleaver for sentries, I don't know if Drafter would be as popular. Like Botulus and Bankar, they still deal okay with this, but at least 2 subs is okay for this cost. It's like a high cost ice with only 2 subroutines. That gets tricky. Because it just feels too bad to have those get nullified by a Botulus or whatever, or a Bankar. So you see like MIC. It has 3 subs, pretty good. Brand as well, high cost. So MIC, I guess you're at 4 strength. So if they don't have Buzzsaw Turbine, it's tough to break. But if you have Buzzsaw Turbine, it's of course not good at all. Brand is a bit more robust at 6 strength. Like so this ice kind of like has been one of the taxing ices for a long time. Yeah. And ice like Hagen. Yeah, again. I think this creates like an early game threat where you're a little bit scared of just installing Botulus Blind or whatever, and also the high strength makes your early game good. Well, the 4 rest cost. I mean, I think Hagen just, even though it's terrible late, I think it makes up for it by its early game strength. That's basically the logic, so you can actually get off the ground. But anyway, that's this list. Let's not get stuck on it for too long. So the point is like ice. It's even with the ice that is like good and acceptable nowadays. You sometimes find yourself like kind of sad when the runner is decently set up, or even they might like, you might have the wrong piece of ice for the situation and your ice isn't doing what you want. like, let's say you install Hagen to protect something, and the runner just like slams a cookbook botulus and runs, and you're very sad. Um, so this is stuff that can happen. I guess a Hagen Mavericks is a nice combo, but you to like trash a program in that case, but then you need the money for that, so you can't just do that right away. But yeah, just as an example. Also, this isn't as good versus banker and stuff. But yeah. So even the good, as this applies to gatekeeper as well. Like, it can be uncomfortable if you're forced to rest the brand too early, and then they like crew devil charm it. So like it just feels bad that the runner can do all this stuff to you, and you sort of have to prepare for all the decks at the same time. It's not like you can narrow down and focus. So is of course also what makes Netrunner good, is that you have to prepare for a lot of decks, but this is the problems that you're running into. So yeah. So all of this, so I kind of briefly wanted to discuss how this affects decks that I have been trying. Maybe play some games with the list that I'm brewing now. So for like the CBI BTL, this deals really well with like the quote unquote normal runners, that they may play the cleaver and the buzzsaw and like a turbine, like very reg, but it doesn't deal very well with botulus. It deals well enough with bankar, I think, but with too many tricks like Audrey and botulus, they get past stuff. So and this is I think a decent deck into a very reg meta, but even then it's not like it's like super duper winning every game or whatever. So given the fact that you have problems against one of the popular decks, that makes you a bit sad. Like Archer, like this crazy, is like you have to go to the lens of like committing to rest something as crazy as an Archer, which is like, it's 6 strength and has 4 subroutines. It checks all the boxes. It's like a sentry, yes. It has 6 strength, very good, and it has 4 subroutines. Like, what more could you ask for? It even ends the run, like, perfect. But even this, like, you might work hard for this. You score your eminent domain, and maybe you're sacrificing some accesses and stuff, and there is some setup time, and then the runner might just like slam crew devil charm and get rid of this. Like, so you get what I'm saying. It's very hard to get to the point where you feel safe and like you've covered your bases. Although I will still say, like, this feels amazing to us, and it is hard for a lot of stuff to break, which is also why I think like these fast obelisks did well with it, because they had other stuff to back up their early game, whereas my list, I think, it has trouble protecting the remote early and getting the tempo. So it probably takes too much time or has too much trouble establishing the archers early enough. But yeah, so there's some problems with this deck. I still think this is fun, but yeah. Winchester is quite a good card, but basically only on HQ. Like, it checks some of the boxes. You have a sentry, it's 4 strength, and it has 3 subs. Like, really good ice on HQ for all those things. It's even decent on other servers, but like, those stats are amazing. Like, whether you want a botulus, bankar, or try to break it with a breaker, those are good stats. Like, so this is a good piece of ice, but like, yeah, again, it only works on HQ. Then I was kind of missing playing Restoring Humanity. I was like, damn, these runners are these runners are annoying. I just want to punitive them. And honestly, I don't know how if this list is actually bad. Like practicing it a little bit, which I did. Was it last week? It went okay. Um, but another thing I realized is that crew decks, um, not only do they make like very big eyes a bit sad with the Devil Charm crew, um, they make some eyes that's like high res cost and low strength sad as well, like Saisentan. Like Saisentan is 5. Now because it's not now because it is a sentry, it's allowed to have 3 subs, and that doesn't suck. Like so, the 3 subs are good for Botulus and Bankar, but and if they do have an actual breaker, they need to pay at least 3, which isn't amazing, but that's okay. I think that's okay in terms of a tax, so you can actually tax a little bit, even past them getting their breaker. Like 2 credits or 1 credit is like really, really bad. Of course, like you might be playing against me for some reason, and then there's a Boitata, and I break Saisentan for 2 credits, but that's a tangent. So yes. Another thing actually related to this was some decks, the kit decks, sometimes they play Orca. So then your Anansi and Saisentan become bad as well. So like, yeah, again, like, damn, it's hard to find consistently strong ice. Makes this tricky. So one thing I like about the RH is like you do have a lot of subs on all your ice. I think maybe some issues with this is a lot of the decks are packing some kind of hate versus kill, and your big boy ice is supposed to like make your void remote sort of invulnerable so that you can score the Regenesis, because if you lose an agenda point, then you can no longer threaten giving them 6 points on archives. That's like a really big point for this deck. So your remote getting cracked and your Regenesis getting stolen is something you really want to avoid. So you do try to have like an ice they can't really get past comfortably and avoid, or 2 ice. But as soon as there's like Devil Charm crew, becomes tricky, right? Even Botulus is tricky for some of this ice. I think if they can put a Botulus on an ice and let it charge for a turn, it becomes tricky. And I don't really find that I have the slots for Mavros in this list. So everything seems a bit tricky. And I'm like, damn. And Rai says, my favorite Netrunner streamer is back. Hi, Finn. Hey there, Rai. That's very nice of you. Good to have you on the stream. And by the way, I love it when there's questions and stuff. So if you want to interrupt me with some questions about what I'm ranting about right now, then please feel free to do that. This was a long roundabout way of getting to this list that won Worlds. Of course, Reality Plus is banned now. But we've talked about a lot of like the quote unquote problem cards for Corps. It's like, okay, how do we dodge all this stuff? So looking back at this Reality Plus list, and I was playing with this a bit before it got banned, and tried to make some changes as well, like figuring out, what do I think this list should be. But a few things that I like about this list is that it sort of bypasses a lot of the normal issues with ice. Now, of course, it's barely running any ice. But I feel like the ice it's running makes a lot of sense. So you have ping. And sure, ping doesn't have a lot of subs. And it is not taxing to get through, but it basically the tag that you give them, it gear checks them on ice if they want to have reg breakers, or like, versus banker, at least it does a net damage to them. But it's very non-committal by you. You're not spending a lot, and you give them a tag. So it's like, it's good enough. VSA is similar. Like, this won't be taxing at all once they have the buzzsaw, but all of these decks trying to trick their way past ice, they will still take a tag by this. So this is kind of forcing you to actually have the decoder. And if you do get the decoder, I mean, it's not taxing at all, but it's still a credit, and it's only 2 to rest, so very like non-committal. The unsmiling, it has a lot of subroutines. Not a high rest cost. So like these are 2 positives again versus botulus. And it's very similar to Saisantan, is a sentry. It's 1 less to res. It's still very punishing as a face check. Maybe not as much as Saisantan, but still like only 4 to res. And this can get crewed pretty easily. Like they could take a tag and crew this. But if you're playing a tag deck, first of all, then, well, you could leech crew it. But if you take a tag and you're up against a tag deck, that's bad. So that helps a bit against the crew decks. Like that's something you will have to clear. And another big point about this list is there's Oppo research. And Oppo research, even if you're not R+, but especially if you're R+, is a good trade for the Corp. So you can, if the runner is trading with you card for card, like normally they might just be gaining stuff by getting rid of this with like a crew. But with Oppo research, you're actually punishing them. So you're making them pay for doing that. And then this deck, I mean, some of the agendas are quite bad if you steal them, but it was on kind of non-committal agendas where if you lose 1, it might be fine. And not leaning too hard into the ice, because the ice, what we've learned is ice sucks anyway, right? So you have like cards like Oppo and Amaze Amusements to protect you instead. You can even protect yourself on centrals with Behold. So they need to take this into consideration. And yes, I mean, you can even bluff a Behold in the remotes behind a Hollow Man or something. Now, the fact that this deck plays False Lead adds another dimension to it. That's not what I'm doing today, but playing False Lead means that, of course, if they keep a tag or 2 tags and they have 2 clicks left, I mean, you could kill them even from 1 tag if you have double Mindscaping end of the line. But probably if they have 2 tags, so let's say you oppo them for 4 tags, they don't have a way to get extra clicks, then you can kill them. So some runners might have like Stone Chip or whatever, but yeah, that's unless they have special tricks, then this will lead to a kill. So that's a lot of stuff, but I thought that this was like a generally neat idea based on all the things you need to deal with as a Corp. Oh shit, I spilled some water. So this is... Yeah, I'm gonna clean this up. Intermission. All right. That was gracious. Okay. So, as I was saying, um, yeah, this was so there were a lot of cool ideas in this deck, and I was brewing after the ban. Like I was quite enjoying brewing Reality Plus, and so after the ban, I was trying to move this archetype into Asmari, because Asmari is, it's quite similar. Like you get a lot of money from the ID. Of course, it's no longer bound to tags, which makes a lot of things different, but it doesn't necessarily make them worse. Of course, like the synergies with the tagging cards are a bit worse, but it also means that you might get money without even needing to do anything. You just get the money by the runner playing the game. But of course, they can also try to deny you the money. But this list is an attempt at playing something similar, but making quite a lot of changes, like tweaks to the general idea. So some of them is just stuff that I feel maybe fits better in Asmari. So some of there was Oracle Think Tank in the original list headline. I wasn't a huge fan of the degree mill, so I was kind of trying to change the agenda suite. And False Lead, while good, I think I kind of wanted to. So I guess what I'm saying with False Lead is it does lead to kills, but there are tricks to get around it. So in this list, I'm let's say False Lead, but they have 2 stone chips out. So they pop those and then they can clear the rest of the tags next turn, something like that. So because they have tricks to get around stuff, I figured let's just try to tax them, out tempo them. So if we cut the false leads, we can have an agenda suite that's basically only value based except for Beal. So Offworld Office, it gets our Hollow Man money back. So we can if the runner isn't pushing us and doing anything, we're just kind of scoring agendas for free with Hollow Mans. Crypto Crash is also value. Of course, the runner can kind of try to dodge this, but they don't really know which one you're scoring, and this is a 2-off in your deck. Headline, of course, being able to score this and just tag, this is just good agenda. Of course, the fact that it gives a tag on steal and score is crazy. So we're a tagging deck. Then Project Beal. So of course, Project Beal can be scored from hand with Hollow Man, but this is also kind of our global food initiative while also being a 3-2. Of course, we're playing more agenda points than a deck with GFI would, but but the fact that this can transform into a 3-pointer means that we're effectively playing 3-pointers without playing 3-pointers, which I really like. So we have a way of getting to 5 or threatening to get to 5, so that we're threatening to score out from 5, which again, with the current meta is a nice thing to be able to do. So I quite like this agenda suite because the runner still needs to steal 4 agendas to win. That's almost half your agendas. So almost as good as playing a 6 agenda suite, but I feel like our scores are more valuable than that of a 6 agenda suite and less clunky. Cody says wouldn't be a kitchen stream without a spill. Yeah, it's true. And also it wouldn't be a me stream without a spill. I'm like a very clumsy person. So yes. So this deck, in that way, I feel like the agenda suite is cleaner. It puts more pressure on the runner, I feel like. I mean, it at least it keeps more of our money. And it's less susceptible to tech, I would argue. That's the idea, at least. So basically, we're trying to with the speed of Hollow Man, the ID, and the agendas, and also that our ice is kind of clunky to get through, and Amaze Amusements on the remote, we are kind of basically saying that the runner, we're going to gain a lot of value, and if the runner is trying to stop us, they're going to have to pay a lot of money and clicks early on. And then even later on, when the ice is easy to get through, you still have to clear tags from Oppo and Amaze. And if they let us get to 5, then we can score out from hand with Hollow Man. Also, if they just sit back passively, they might just get hit by a crypto crash that kind of cripples their setup. So quite like a lot of the ideas here. I also simplified. So in the original, there was like 2 end of the line, 2 mindscaping, pivot, and sprint. I just find that pivot is hard to make use of given the extra click here. So typically it seems like something you would play to search out something to then be able to play it on a later turn, and that just doesn't jive with me. Maybe there are some cases with pivot that I'm not seeing, but didn't feel that good. And then sprint didn't feel necessary. So here I'm just like on 2 end of the line, 2 mindscaping. There's also no gaslight. So I'm making the fact that I'm cutting this stuff makes room for some other stuff. I can play a bit more ice, 1 less behold, and also I guess the economy is a bit leaner. We were playing 3 regolith before, but no hedge fund. So you had to kind of install this, then click it a bunch of times. With this list, we don't have to dedicate as many clicks to the economy, which I kind of like. This is a very jammy list. Like we can threaten quickly to score things and get value from them, sort of like a PD. But then, unlike the PD, we have ways to punish the runner even if they get through our ice. Also, the mindscaping as a 3-off, I really like it because even if we find for some reason that we don't want to keep a copy in our hand for the potential kill, this can also kind of be used to protect R&D by putting a behold on top of it, which I think is kind of cool. Maybe a bit niche. Also, 1 copy of your digital life. Not that many because you're not that likely to go super high on cards a lot with this deck, but for when you do, this is probably at least a hedge fund for you at some point in the game. So I think 1 copy makes a lot of sense. Maybe it should be more. 3 Amaze might seem crazy, like way too much. I honestly wasn't sure about this. I kind of just want to have 1 in the remote for when we put the agenda there. Also like that this creates some ambiguity between is he trying to score out with a Hollow Man, or is this just an agenda with a mace and I'm going to take 2 tags if I go in? Makes it a bit hard for the runner to decide when to push and when to not push. And also means that, like, in general, there's a lot of pinhole targets. Also, if you do get pinholed, you can oppo them. So, like, a lot of things give you an oppo window. But yeah, I was thinking I would play this a little bit, actually. There's also the replays that Diogen asked for, but I don't know if the current viewers are interested in that. Those are the CBI replays. But otherwise, I was thinking I would just play this Asari for a game or 2, which I haven't done in a while. But let me answer Trot Penguin first. How do you prioritize kill versus score? Example, if opponent has 2 stone ships, would ever hollow a headline into double basic action treasuries, or just try to set up the next score instead? Interesting question. Like, I don't know if I can get like to give. I don't know if I can give like a general answer there. I think it's just going to depend on the situation. If you, yeah, like let's think about it. So if they have 2 stone ships. Yeah, I mean, It's a line that might. I don't know. I don't know. It's tricky. Like that's such an unusual line. Um, I feel like in general, what we're trying to do is to get them enough tags or threaten for them to have enough tags that they have to like preemptively pop their stone chips, and they're going to be like crippled staying to clear the tags. So a lot of the time, scoring the headline just to get rid of the stone chips, I think will be like bad tempo wise for you, and you should try to prioritize forcing them to clear the tags. So if they ever push your remote, and you have like Amaze Amusements, and you give them too many tags not to clear, then you get a window to potentially trash stone chips. Without having to, I don't know, headline score? I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know how often trashing the stone chips makes sense. Like another thing you could do is like if they end their turn and they're in kill range, you can start by playing. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I think basically just if you have enough money, then you probably want to trash the stone chips, but I don't know how often I would do it proactively, because you can just like usually in that situation, scoring the headline and then going for the next score is better than taking the time off to trash their stone chips, I would think. Because yeah, by pushing hard for the scores, you're kind of forcing them to go into your amaze. Yeah. Well, I guess let's play a game and see how it goes. I'm just gonna take a quick break, and then we'll try at least one game. And these games can go quite fast sometimes. So yeah, we'll see. So I'll be right back. All right, we are back. Yeah, let's get in a game. Boom, Corp. And we type that we're streaming. Yeah. So to Trat again, I think the value of trashing the stone chips go up when we know they're about to. When we know they're about to be in a position where they need to buy a turn to survive. Before that, we're probably just trying to tempo out. We want something to accelerate us. We don't really have that here. It's not terrible, but like we like Hollow Man and Hedge. Beal isn't ideal. having something to Ice HQ is good, but I was gonna say we should normally find something, but we actually didn't, so this could be really bad. So I think we need to draw, see if we can get ice. Whoops. That's so bad. Well, at least if we get doofed. At least if we get doofed, we get the Asari money. That's a small consolation. We can just install the Amaze. I think going in and trashing an Amaze for 3 credits, it's a click and 3 credits. We're not too mad about that. So just a pure run on HQ. Mindscaping. That's a good outcome. Like, you could hit Behold here, but there's 2 agendas, so we're kind of lucky not to get hit harder. We're triggering the Asari. So against a lot of decks, Asari is just ridiculous. I think maybe Mulch is still like the toughest matchup for this type of list. Because, yeah, if I call event, then the Mulch can kind of just like install. They can just install programs, fermenters, and chill. So I might not get as much value out of the ID. I think Mindscaping putting a Behold on top here seems kind of good. Oof, still not seeing what I want. But okay, I mean, there wasn't a doof last turn. Maybe we can survive another one. And now we get a chance to oppo, which might force the runner to chill a little bit. Runner can still hit HQ. Like, we can still get doofed. We can still get our Rashida trashed. But if we're lucky, the runner decides to go passive here out of fear. Yeah, so sometimes you can kind of, because you have ways to just respond with oppo, the runner sometimes just sits back. Now this is uniquely bad. Like this, this is so bad. Wow. I actually don't think I have a choice beyond just installing a bunch of stuff. And then we're still vulnerable. Like maybe I install like a Behold. So this, a Behold, and a Crypto, something like that. And then we like hope they hit the wrong card. Or they hit the Behold and get too scared to run anything else. Oh, also I was going to mention, I'm basically sure that I'm going to play in the AMT on Saturday. And I think I'm going to stream it as well. GG. That seems premature. the has this been happening to you guys where there's a GG but no concession? It's happened a few times to me. Wait, so we're playing? I don't know what's happening. No concession, damn. The BM. All right. We'll just play another one. Like that was yeah. I mean, clearly his draw was bad, but we were in a terrible position as well. Well, I mean, not necessarily. Like if we get the Rashida off, we might be fine. We were super flooded, and we didn't have any ice yet. So if the Rashida pops, maybe we finally get to a good place, and then yeah, probably the fact that he's super low on credits is bad. So I not yeah, I kind of get the concession, but yeah, slightly premature. Because if you get unlucky, there's always the chance that your opponent also got unlucky, right? Might as well see if they were. So we're up against Holt's Pub Sub. So this hand, yeah, again, like, I mean, it's nice versus Hoshiko to be able to just ice centrals, I guess. So I don't hate this hand. Yeah, fine. Let's try to keep this. I don't know if that's that good, but we can ice R&D and HQ and just take a credit. Or draw. Yeah, I think drawing. HQ R&D. And I think usually versus Hoshiko we call event. So the mulch list, it might be interesting to look at how many events they play, but I believe it's still like a large amount. So I'm not sure. So the decks, Asmari just like punishes decks that have a lot of the same type of card in them. And it's just slightly unfair, but that's how it works. And this hand is also quite bad, to be honest. I think something like credit, Hollow Man on one of these is what we have to do. But so while these situations may look very bad, if the runner is playing around Asmari, they are crippling themselves. Of course, it's not. I'm not saying it's a bad play. It's like probably what you want to do. But by slowing down Asmari, you're also slowing down yourself. So if we were having a bit of a slow start, it's often okay as long as the runner is also having a slow start. So it looks like it can't avoid giving us the money anymore. Ooh. So I was going to say this run is risky. But hitting a Behold here is not a kill. So it's actually fine. We still trigger the Behold, of course. Well, yeah, we don't have the money to do all this stuff here. We can, yeah. I think we just take 3 credits to force the clears. Yeah, 1 more credit and we could credit Mindscape and check if there's still skin and see if we win. But here I think we just need to, I mean, unless we just we want to get the Oppo out of the way to not to have too many dead draws. It could make sense. Credit Oppo. So then we're not really threatening a kill next turn, but we got the Oppo out of the way, and these tags will need to be cleared pretty soon. Like we even have, the cards to back up our threats. Okay, not clearing. So we respond in the same way. We just take the money. And I should also mention, I love playing old school NBN tempo tag and bag decks. Like, I went on rants about this before, but I've loved. I've had some pet decks. One Asmari deck from way back that just thrives on like cheap eyes, hard-hitting news, economic warfare, an econ denial. You could play scarcity of resources. That deck was so good. So that was the first worlds I went to. I believe we have a kill here, regardless of the amount of steel skins. So, and then we just end of the line. Okay, GG. So we actually have the guns to back up our threats. We're not just tagging, we're also bagging. Oh, I forgot to kind of check what list that was. That looked more like it could be a reg host or it could be a crew host. Oh, I should definitely type that I'm streaming. There you go. Hey there. How do I say your name? Holzpuben. Is that correct? Anyway, thank you for the game. That was fun. So if this deck continues to feel fun and good enough, I'm probably playing it on Saturday. Like I could also go RH or the BTL, but I've already played those, and for the reasons I laid out at the start, like I'm not super duper feeling them. Ooh, Mercury. Mercury can be tough if we don't get the right kind of start. Well, Mercury, I think Mercury often doesn't play Doof, so it will be interesting to see. These starting hands today are just like, what the hell? Like, what is this? Okay, we got an ice. Thank God. we're actually installing some ice versus criminal. It's hard for, so Mercury, I think definitely it's going to be hard to play around the Asari trigger. So we'll probably get a lot of free money. Oh, there's stone shit. That's... Wow, the flood today. Okay. Spinny Boy. Hollow Man. I feel like it's too obvious if I put it on HQ, and that's like a kind of a target anyway. There's Amelia. Wow, okay. So 3 cards will be accessed now. But we already drew all the agenda, so joke's on them. Slight brain fart on my part. He says, it actually was the Magic Girls Don't Die deck. I'm not sure which one that is, but please enlighten me. Correct, it's so low. It's low German, so quite close to Swedish. Oh, cool. Okay, so I can just say it in the Swedish way. Holzpuben Subbe. Cool. Okay, so trash the card. Oh, that's quite funny that if Mercury keeps any tags, they will lose the Amelia that they worked so hard for. Okay, so we can rest this to see some more cards, yeah? So this, I think, does this, I think this goes on R&D for the bypass effect, maybe? Well, let's go with this. I feel like the unsmiling protects the remote better. Actually, I could overdraw to shuffle some agendas back with the spin, but to be honest, yeah, this turn I kind of just wanted to build up a little bit. Don't want to allow the charging of this Earhart too much. Ooh, last click inside job. Well, there's no point in resing this, so we might get super punished here. Yeah, maybe in retrospect, considering how flooded we were, this is oof. Now we wish we had an oppo. Yeah, actually, maybe I should have like shuffled that back. Yeah, we don't have the hollow man either, so it's not that easy to just score. Do I shuffle it now? Like, to just admit that I made a mistake and shuffle back these, then draw? That seems fine. Spin. Maybe we pretend our emote has an agenda. Could backfire if there's just inside job or whatever. Yeah, I don't like this because I feel we're gonna leak too many agendas without actually delivering a kill. Ooh, so okay, if we rest this now. So if we give the runner credits, that seems worth it. It's gonna mean we fire one more of these. And all of them are worth 2 credits for the runner, I think. Ending on a tag. Well, there's Stone Ship. Oh, I totally forgot that the Stone Ship can just charge Amelia. Damn, I'm kind of. How did I blank on that? That's pretty cool. That means that Amelia is actually close to firing. Okay, so we can fire. We get the cards. We pass. We rest the spin. And do we pop? Do we maybe pop just to reduce the agenda density? That could be a line here. Oppo. Well, I would have liked to Oppo. But okay. Let's get this remote rolling. So like economy-wise, we're doing great, but leaking just 2 more agendas and we lose the game. That's never what you want to hear. Okay. This is HQ or R&D. Yeah, maybe hedge ICHQ, something like that. And advance. That's, yeah. That seems fine. Scoring without Hollow Man is sad. I am rich. Might still lose. This is tricky. Bravado. Last click Bravado. No, there is a click. But tag is not... Oh, no, the tag is clearable. Of course. If we leak agenda here... Ooh, that is actually, yeah. Leaking here is really rough, because... Yeah, getting to 4 is quite tricky, because, like, a maze doesn't matter anymore. Oh. Wow. So inside job, just we lose the game to inside job now. Yeah, leaking a lot of points early with this is really bad. First of all, it means a maze doesn't have as much, like, doesn't do anything. But also, the plays where you just snipe something off R&D, means you can then ignore the amaze on the remote. The punishment doesn't come until the next turn. So now we hope he thinks this is NGO or that there's no inside job. Yeah, was it stupid to put the ping on HQ? I mean, leaking the off-world office is also like really bad. Wait, what? Last click Earthrise. While tagged? Yeah, looks like he's gonna undo. Docklands. Okay. Well, if there is no action, we just win. Yeah, there should have been a stone ship pop. That was kind of lucky. Was there an answer there? Femme fatale. Yeah, femme fatale is not enough. Wow. Yeah, that's like they need, if they're in a situation like that, and there's only one stone chip, then you need to make sure to pop it preemptively. All right. Well, we kind of got bailed out. I feel like we got really unlucky, but we got bailed out in that game. With the stone ship pop, of course, he wants to pop the stone ship for Amelia, but it's just not the right situation for it. You just lean into the fact that you're so far ahead on points. And I'm a deck that needs you to not be high on points to actually punish plays. Okay, let's hope we draw a bit better. So same matchup. We got the 2 mindscaping right away. And there's a maze. Like if we play a mindscaping and we don't see ice, we could always just play a maze and an off-world. It doesn't seem too bad. I did... well, it's the same opponent, so I think they know I'm streaming. Just to check. Maybe I didn't write it in the first one. Okay. Oof, yuck. Today is just not my day. Okay. So we go Behold on R&D. And then Off-World Amaze. Yeah. Not a huge fan because we might just... Yeah. Like this is not... Well, actually, why didn't I play Amaze on HQ? Wouldn't that be a sick play? Yeah, we lose the Hollow Man. Yeah, maybe the Mindscaping telegraphs the Behold too hard. Okay. We do like Oppo. Yeah, maybe we just go for the score outs here. Who needs ice? Yeah. Yeah, actually, Yeah, I'm probably being a bit sloppy here. So I probably could have still played a mace on centrals. So a question is it time now for it? It's just really awkward click-wise. I don't know what to do with the rest of my clicks then. I feel like it's better to get this one out of the way. Of course, might make it a bit easy to charge this. Like R&D is wide open. HQ, we have Behold, so we're sort of happy if that's the run. Ooh, it looks like it is, and last click too. That is a ballsy move. That doesn't make a lot of sense, because if you end your turn tagged, then you worked really hard for the Amelia, but then you lose the Amelia. It looks like this is lethal anyway. All right. So yeah, it's very tempting to charge the Amelia. I think really the key for Mercury here is to be okay with moving away from the Amelia plan or delaying it, because honestly it seems like quite a little bit tricky if they just chill, because we are giving a lot of free accesses, at least with these hands, like if you can't ice up the centrals early. Okay. Let's try some more. As long as I'm enjoying these games, this is what I really like about these, is the games are quite quick. I guess we're doing more Mercury. This is a mulligan. Trad Pingwing says, looks like you'll have a pretty chill Saturday if this is your deck. just kill turn 3 every game. That would be very chill. Yeah, for me, like, this is like playing this kind of deck is like nostalgic and cozy. What is up? What is happening today? What is this? This is just bad. All right, let's try to make the most of it. Try not to lose immediately. Maybe we throw an agenda on the board. Like how often does Mercury check the board? I don't know. Something like this. But like, holy crap. I mean, there is not a lot of ice in the deck, but there's 9. The same amount that we have 9 agendas as well. We draw all the agendas and none of the ice. Okay. But there was no aggression. I feel like, I guess it's kind of fair as Mercury to be scared of the Behold, perhaps. So I guess I can see it. But we are very happy not to have the runs immediately. Wow. Well, we can YDL. And that's nice. And we can ice HQ. What are we pitching here, though? Like, I'm almost tempted to just hide an agenda in archives until we find our spin. I feel like that's actually like the correct line, because this Mercury is not very incentivized to go and check there, and we're just super flooded. We don't. Yeah, I mean we have enough money. We can pitch the off-world if we actually get to a point where we can where we can score it. Bravado into ping. So we're staying alive for now. Okay, another ice. We like it. Like, part of me wants to ice Server 2 and advance it twice. Can we afford to be that aggressive? So if there's, let's say there's, where there could be, for example, credit, inside job, rest on smiling, there's a tag, there's a steal, and there's still the no free lunch. So the tag can be cleared clicklessly, we play the oppo, and we get it out of hand. Or if we're lucky, there isn't a contest. I feel there will be a contest, but how long can we wait for that? I don't know. I kind of feel the need to do something. This may be wrong. But just... We were dealt bad cards, so we try to play with them. And this feels like a natural off turn. It might be that the runner doesn't want to push here. Credit. Yeah, it's nine agendas and 9 ice. So as you can see, we got, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4 agendas and 2 ice. Okay, so we can score this, and we finally got spin. So I think we score put the spin in here, try to bait a run. And hopefully next turn we have some more ice. Because the service, but this like went better than expected. I think if the runner can pressure the remote there, they should. You don't get, there's nothing that can punish you that hard, I think. Well, I guess oppo is awkward. You still got the 2 points, you get the 2 tags. You probably survive any damage I can lay on. Maybe with the mindscaping and stuff it doesn't work. But there was class act. Okay. So we draw. So we have the kill pieces. And this is just not what we want to draw. What does a turn even look like here? I would really like to put another ice on the remote, or one on R&D, or like Hollow Man and a mace. Yeah. So if there's mindscaping, we go up to 9, 2 clicks. We'll have to discard 1, but then we can shuffle that back. I guess we would also shuffle the Behold away then. I feel like we've dug enough that we can afford to get rid of one of the mindscapings. Yeah. Okay, so now we have the unsmiling. Yeah, now suddenly I feel... So we're going to get rid of one of these agendas. I kind of want to... Yeah, the thing is we're very starved on ice. I would like to have extra ice on like all the servers now. At least one on R&D. Yeah, we can't really put Rashida in the remote this turn because we want to discard before Spin Doctor. So maybe unsmiling on R&D. And discard a Beal, then we have the option of which one of these we want to go for. Yeah, I felt it's too early for the install advance crypto crash. I think we'll wait a little bit. To Jakub, yeah, it's a tag and bag Asari list. I guess I can show it very briefly. Very similar to the World's Winning Forced Errors, kind of a different agenda suite, no false lead. Just like 3 mind skip into end of the line, and you have amazing amusements. And Hollow Man. And very, very lean ice. But I was making a lot of arguments early on for like why it's hard to... Oh, maybe I should have shuffled so I don't get the Behold. That's a mistake. But it's fine. Okay. So we shuffle these back. What do I even do here? Draw. I don't even need the money anymore. But okay. Yeah, this is quite ridiculous. As I'm too scared to push anything here. Actually, yeah, maybe I should just push something so that I can oppo and start taxing the runner a bit. I was thinking I would want 2 ice before putting an agenda there. Or an Amaze Amusements. But now there's Docklands. Oof. But again, this is... well, okay, not that risky. Well, the thing is, Amelia doesn't do anything anymore. Losing 10 credits for us when we have 40 is like... is not gonna matter. Do we pop Rashida? This is a bad time to pop Rashida. No, it isn't. All of the tags were cleared. So never mind. Okay. Cool. So we get mandatory. Yeah, so now we can install the Beal and Oppo, I think. I almost want to wait for when the Oppo is more tags. But there are 2 more copies in whoops. That wasn't intended. There are 2 more copies in the deck. The Behold wasn't trashed? No, no, oh, no, of course. We drew another Behold. Okay. So yeah. And we keep going event, of course. Yeah, but money is ridiculously abundant at this point. So yeah, with two tags, pushing the remote here means you would end your turn tagged. So it's not really doable this turn. And then we can decide, I guess, depending on what we draw, if we want to double advance this Beal or just score it right now. If we got a nice, maybe we ice, double advance, we can get to 5. Because getting to 5 is crucial, I think. It's kind of like how the one of my fondest lists, the one I won intercons with in 2022, how getting to 5, I guess for a lot of corps this is just the case, but getting to 5 was kind of tricky because you could only get there by scoring a GFI. So there was, one specific agenda that you need to score to get there. So no point in resing this. Oh, this might be bad. Okay, that's lucky. Similar with Beal here. Although they're so low on money, I almost want to ice R&D and double advance this. But I probably should just commit to what I said. Yeah. If we get to 5, we can worry about the rest of the game later, I think. Hopefully. You still need, like, if you inside job or Esto Brado here, you're spending a card just to see one more card. And Amelia is triggering, but again, it's not relevant. Unless you get like 2 more Amelias. I'm wondering if Amelia is underused. I like the stone ship stuff. Jailbreak. See, I mean, these plays are just like too risky. The last click runs. I think you can just avoid doing this. But yeah, so now we just kill. And GG. Yeah, we can do one more game. So I think again, I think it's an okay matchup. Well, no, it does seem okay for Mercury. You just need to be, you just need to chill. Like if you get your points, you can wait for a while before the Asmari is actually threatening to score out and ending the game. So you don't need to be in such a rush to end the game. I think you should be trying to get your Mercury triggers for free on any turns that you can, probably even if it's the first turn. Okay. The iceless hands of today. Well, let's see if the spin can find us some ice. Very good. Spinny Boy does what he's supposed to do. And we give a good luck and have fun. So it would be interesting if we end up against Mulch and we see how that goes. Ooh, that's an aggressive line. I mean, we do have to rest, right? It is uncomfortable dipping low. But this is one benefit of having stuff like predictive planogram and YDL is you can bounce back from these low credit totals more easily. So you could have that as an argument. I guess Mindscaping helps a little. Yeah, how do we comfortably get out of this? I'm sort of okay with discarding cards, I suppose. I think I forgot to ask if streaming is okay. Okay. Oh, is this an oppo turn after all? We could actually credit Mindscaping oppo. And then we're shuffling back an agenda when we pop this spin. I kind of like that. Oh, wait, but then no, we're discarding another card. So we go... What? Credit, spin in remote, oppo? No, just credit oppo, right? Yeah. Let's do that. I think this forces a clear because you don't want to lose the paladin. Not 100%. But he did clear. And I think... Yeah, so I think even though we risk losing the Behold, we put ping on R&D here. Just hope we don't lose it to the Hosh flip, and then I think probably a more natural run is on archives for the Hosh flip. And then next turn we can get the hedge out. Ooh, I don't like this cleaver install. I think what Hosh really, like in these situations, Hosh needs to... Okay, it's still the... Okay. Hosh just needs to focus on getting back up on money and cards. You shouldn't be this aggressive. Yeah, so I think something like maybe not run archives if you're scared of oppo. I don't think you need to be here, but like, yeah, run archives or HQ, draw back up is probably what you want to do. Okay. Let's maybe an event will be played. Like you're not in a hurry to spend the paladin credits, especially because you have a gachapon on. So yeah, if you have Keiko or twinning, it makes more sense because then you get extra triggers. Yeah, so yeah, this is one of the things I like about playing a deck like this is often the games become quite like low econ situations, and I think that's a really interesting space to play in when both players have like little to play with. That's also where you want to be as the NBN. Do we just... Yeah, I think you're too afraid to run this here. So I think we can jam this headline. So maybe this can... If he's not careful, this could lead to a kill. Otherwise, maybe we can trash the companions, which would also be sick. Oh no, not the Keiko. Okay. This is just... Yeah. This is just too risky. Yeah, that was not the line. I understand it, but like you really want the Keiko to hit the table. But I think, yeah, you need to draw up to 5, and then you can probably still install it. I think it was possible. Yeah, we can go for one more game. Games are going so fast today. I kind of love it. It's it's a bit of a change from the Eminent Ob. Oh, actually, a lot of comments. Now I will remember to ask. All right. So now I don't know the context of the comments. This seems good versus Crim. We have the ice tip for the centrals versus Sable. So we deny the Sable value. I think we're happy. Oh, a lot of ice this time. Yeah, so we need to think about where different pieces fit the best. So against Boomerang Doof, kind of like the VSA on HQ. Not turn 1, I suppose. How cautious do we want to be? We could potentially protect ourselves forever against that. Or not forever, but I mean, if we go ping VSA, we're not getting hit with that. But then we don't have any ice for the remotes. Let's try the really defensive line. Oh, that's a mistake. If we get just one more ice, we're happy with the remote, and I like how this makes Doof kind of useless. Or any early push. Info. Well, this is very ambitious. I mean, we will go low, but we will... Yeah, this... Yeah, now... So we will be at 0 for a while. So we could lose just to like lucky R&D accesses, but beyond that, this seems really good for us. We can trash the info bounty next turn. Yeah, again, like we don't know when we're gonna end up in these situations, but when we do, we wish that we had planogram. But I don't know if that means that we should play it. Like maybe we're playing too many MAs or too many Holomans. But there's a lot of games too where I don't draw them on time and stuff. So it's a bit tricky. But you can tweak some of the slots perhaps. So if we go credit, Mindscaping, we go up to 4, so this ice is active. Which I like. Ooh, would have loved to play that Oppo, but it's okay. Put the Amaze on top, because we're fine with it getting trashed. Maybe the spin. Like, if this gets face checked, I guess we want to bait the spin trash, so I don't think it gets trashed anyway. I think Asari is generally tricky for Crim because they really need to give them a lot of credits. Holzpuben Sube, it's so hard to say, says, do you think it would change the matches if you played with open deck lists? Yeah, definitely. People would be more careful, which could be good in some games and bad in others, I suppose. So I don't think I draw here because I will just overdraw. And this should not get trashed now. Okay, good. That's the right call. And hi, Bridgman, just tuning in. Did you end up doing replay reviews or nah? So I didn't for this stream. I was sort of like asking viewers like if that's something they want or not. So no one was like, yeah, I want to see replays. So I skipped it. And they are still there if anybody wants to see. Do we rest now? I think we rest now. Ooh, nice. YDL is so good. And we're okay with this getting trashed. Yeah, you just can't afford to be doing this. Nice on R&D. Oppo. So I figured there were 4 games that were on stream. I figured for the other ones, I would probably want to ask my opponents if they're okay with me reviewing the replays. The others were on stream, so they're kind of already public, so I figured it would be okay. So I have 4 games that it could go through. I mean, too late to the party this time. I still, yeah, because I don't know. I mean, yeah. Maybe we could still. I don't know. I am getting a little tired, so maybe it's a bit late for stream for replays now. Yeah, let's think about it. Otherwise, I mean, they're still there for another stream. I think replays is a really good way to learn for anyone trying to get better at the game. Sometimes, like, and I do this too. Just like jamming a lot of games feels better. And there's something to be said for just getting reps in. Oh, actually, yeah, so this, I should have went for the abuse. It's still fine though, but... but yeah, definitely going through replays is a way to look at things in detail that oftentimes like people don't take the time for it, but you can learn a lot. So now I'm just autopiloting because probably making some mistakes here too. Like I don't know that pushing this crypto crash is great because it does things like block this Rashida. But it looks like we'll still get it out of the remote. This is annoying though. Like just making them lose 1 credit with crypto crash. I think I'm okay with it because I can get the Rashida off. It looks really bad, but I think it's okay. Yeah, so in terms of the replays, I guess I can tell you which ones there are. Last round of Swiss, there was a BTL versus Seb game. That was like the first game for the BTL on stream. And then there was the first game in the cut. I was playing BTL against Mulch. Then there was another streamed game where I was playing Lat against Brandon on ASA. Brandon is not a Corp ID, unfortunately. And then last round, I played against Tuno's ESA. Okay, like this is like going too well now. Ice HQ more. In case we get hit with doof. This is where I really hate crypto and love Offworld Office. Sometimes it just doesn't do anything, whereas Offworld Office always does something. Yeah. Yeah, I totally hear that. Although, as Asari, in some cases, you end up in situations where, with a lot of triggers, where you almost stop caring about your money, and then it's nice to be able to score crypto crashes instead. But yeah, I really love. I agree with you. I really love Offworld Office for this reason as well. And do we just pitch the Amuse? I think so. I mean, Spin Doctor too, but yeah, maybe we will use another Amuse. Whereas I feel like we don't need the spins. Yeah, and also Offworld Office has very good synergy with Hollow Man because it just like you immediately recuperate the money that you spent. So I think that's like really neat thing as well. Okay. I think I just score the Beal, and then I push this Beal with double advance next turn. That just seems right. I think now we pitch the Amuse. The Behold is nice in case HQ gets pushed, and well, I don't know if we need the spin actually. Seems like, I don't know, just keeping one spin around makes sense to in case we want to shuffle something back, but I don't know. Jacob says you could dress that crypto crash up as a clearinghouse. Yes, but I don't know that they would buy it, unfortunately. 44 card deck and Rashida's go brrr. Yes. Hard to imagine elevation meta without her. She gets the job done and then some. Yeah. She does get the job done and then some. And yeah, this is like a big benefit. Like, not just the Asari ID actually just being really good. Oh, this is a good draw because we don't even need to advance the Beal anymore. We can just go like this. Maybe actually we should go spin. Again, I'm being a bit sloppy just because I feel that I'm doing very well in this game, but I should be more careful. I definitely should be. Because like, yeah, you don't wanna get overconfident. You can still lose to like good accesses on R&D, and then maybe inside jobbing the final agenda on the remote. Like, you need to be careful still. Don't. This is just because I'm talking and I feel like the game is going well. I remember the games you named pretty well. All four seemed quite one-sided, so maybe the way to go is indeed asking your opponents to review the replays that weren't streamed. Yes, it would be a hassle though. Wait. Were 2 boomerangs played? Boomerang. Wait, 2 boomerangs were played. That's not how that works. I'm just gonna point it out in case. Yeah, let's let him undo. Oh, yeah, if it looks like this run will mean, yeah, this is again, the question about open deck lists, I think this is just a question of experience. So a lot of experienced players, they would know that they probably need clicks left over to clear potential tags from amaze. So this last, oh, whoops. Well, it doesn't matter because this is lethal, but but anyway, I kind of lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. About asking opponents. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just don't know if it's worth it. There we have end of the line. GG. Okay. I think that was a lot of games. I think we got like 7 games in. I think that's going to be the last one for today. But yeah, if you have any questions, then hit me up. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up. But yeah, thank you for watching. This is nice to be jamming this a little bit. This is a deck that I really enjoy. This is very much my style. I think. Oh yeah, and also there will be a stream for AMT. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna create it pretty soon. If you so for anyone who's interested in seeing some competitive Netrunner, well, I'm not sure if it's going to be super competitive, but we'll see. I think some really good players were signed up. So like actual Netrunner competition is probably going to be without commentary. Just me playing the games and then talking in between games and answering questions and stuff. But basically, you'll just be able to follow along the tournament journey. I think it's going to start at around 10 Swedish time. Probably like that's when the player meeting and stuff is. So yeah, tune in for that on Saturday. I think I'm going to make a stream for it, so you can see when it's heading up. And I'm probably playing. Well, we'll see. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't spoil what I'm playing. We'll see. Because you know my opponents might be watching this, so it's better if I don't spoil it. Okay. So Holzpuben says, well, regarding the BTL deck, I asked you before, but have you considered anything instead of the biovaults? Not really, because I think the biovaults are like a big perk of the deck. I just see them as like something that helps it. So I haven't really I don't really want to replace them. I could see maybe if there's a card that you feel like would be really good for the deck, I could see perhaps not playing 3 Mesnich Chesvos. Maybe you want to play, 2, maybe even 1. I don't know. Because that's a card I don't feel like that card is mandatory for deck. Like maybe you could even cut all of them. I'm not sure, but you still need to make sure you have taxing ice. So yeah. But I just wouldn't cut Biovault because I feel like that fits so well with the idea of the deck. Like you're trying to build these big beefy servers. By the way, this is I'm not sure if you were around for looking at this, but I was showing this earlier. It was Hexnet that recommended playing some hostile takeovers, and it was doing some work. Although of course it makes all your servers a bit weaker, but it also gets you rolling a bit faster. The idea is that it will compensate for that while giving you a bit of a lower agenda density. Like your odds of getting the runner getting to 7 over a certain amount of accesses is lower with this agenda suite. So that was kind of a perk. And then you can still like forfeit this. It gives you money as you score it. But that's a bit of a tangent. There's pros and cons of playing it like this. But anyway, regardless of how you build it with the hostiles and stuff, you are trying to build big servers. And the whole idea is that they're going to be taxing enough. It's very hard to, I think, capitalize on that without the biovaults. Because even runners that aren't that rich, they can probably get through your remote like one time if they just, save up their money. Yeah, so I feel Biovault is just makes a lot of sense. And it synergizes with Build to Last, synergizes with Oberth, and just in general synergizes with Glacier stuff. So yeah, no, I think Biovault is just good. Yeah. Tat Pingwing says, I was considering playing AMT, but I'd rather watch you stream it. That's very sweet, but it would be kind of it would be, I think it'd be nicer with more people playing. You could still watch the VOD. So it looked like there were not a lot of people signed up. So yeah, it's always nice with more people playing, I think. Jacob says, you mentioned OB. What do you think is the worst elevation rotation hit for the ID? I'm thinking border control and possibly Archer for eminent domain builds. Yes. Let's just pull up like this the facet OB we were looking at before. Yeah, I think for sure border control is the biggest hit. Like, of course, Archer leaving means that eminent domain. I mean, unless they print something very similar, then eminent domain will not be the same card it was before. Border control is one of the big perks of playing OB, I think, because it makes a lot of other decks, they can't stop the most like aggressive plays from getting into the remote early, I think. But border control in OB is kind of a hard no usually. Like there's very few things that just get past it. Like blind hush, cleaver, run, but like who does that, So yeah, and it's just like so incredibly efficient that you're skipping the install cost. You can have it on a big server and then you're installing a sandstone mid-run. Like it costs a lot of credits. It click compresses, it tutors. Yeah, it's so yeah, big hit for OB. OB is a very cool ID and very flexible ID, so I expect we'll still be seeing a lot of it, but losing border control is a big hit. Because without border control your eyes might not be that good anymore. Border control is, I feel, really, makes your ice suite come together. I'm not sure what you're playing otherwise. Envelopment is an okay card. Has a lot of subs. As we talked about today, having a lot of subs is good. And it's at least early on hard for Cleaver to break. So Envelopment is still a good card in OB. I'm sure the ID will keep seeing play. Maybe Elevation will bring some more support for it. But yeah. Also, any time new cards are printed, and this must actually be very difficult, I feel like, for NSG to kind of design around. You need to think about, if I print this card as a 2-coster or whatever, how will that will that make OB too powerful? Because OB can tutor like basically every single card. So every card that gets printed, you need to think about what it does for OB. Anyway, a new set, depending on what we get, could just be like a big boon to Ob because it gives it more options for tutoring. But of course, it's gonna lose some cards as well. So yeah, who knows? Yeah. I guess that's it. Of course, in general, like I have a bunch of thoughts about elevation. I was on a podcast with Ban Aksu, with Lindux, Swedish guy, that might be coming out soonish. But that was covering just part of it. I hope he's okay with me mentioning it. I don't think it's a big deal, but where we talked about elevation and some of the cards that we're going to rotate, it got me thinking a lot about it, and I've kind of looked at all the factions. But I figured we might do a stream closer to the release of the set where we talk about, maybe the meta in general and things that are leaving, things that we might need replacement for, or that will make a big impact if we don't get replacements, or maybe things that could become busted if we get certain new cards. I don't know. But there should be a podcast episode about that at some point as well, mostly focusing on the Shaper rotation. But anyway, I guess there's no more questions. I'll just wait for like a minute, like I usually do, in case there are more questions. In the meantime, we can just admire some of these beautiful lists. I will say one thing, just in general. It is. I think the game is still really fun, but as Corp playing around all of these, I'm not sure I like how we need to play around all these different restrictions for ice. Like how a card like Maskirovska becomes sort of like default bad. But there's so many cards that are gonna be in the game for a while unless they get banned. And we talk a lot about limiting design space, but yeah, I feel like these cards like Botulus, Bankar, Cleaver, Buzzsaw, basically all the cards, runner side, crew. Yeah, they definitely limit the space for ice to shine. Maybe that's just fine. Maybe we want more decks like the one I played today, where everything is like very non-committal and you have to have a mix of threats, operations to punish, kill threats beyond just the ice, or fast advanced threats, or upgrades to protect your stuff. Because that's kind of how the game is now. Yeah. But anyway, looks like that's the end of the questions. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. If you have any thoughts, just put them in the comments. And see you on Saturday. Yeah, bye-bye.